You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby, and I want to start this podcast hot with a very serious question for you. If a child came up and punched you in the stomach, what would you do?
Is it your child?
No, a stranger's child. My son had soccer yesterday. We go there. There is a group that plays just before him. So all the parents are there watching that group, plus all the parents that are from my son's group.
And some kid punched you?
It wasn't me, but I was sitting there helping Marcus get his shoes on and stuff like that, getting ready for his practice. And I saw this kid who was already running around like a menace, turning off all the lights in the building, then just ran up to another parent who was watching his daughter play soccer and just wham! And I watched the emotions go through this man's face of immediate anger and then confusion.
Did he say anything?
He just sort of looked around and was like, please don't do that. And I was like, man, that is such a better response than I would have
given. I feel like I would have been, "Aye!"
Yeah. I feel like I would have cussed. I don't think, just on instinct. Mm-hmm. If anybody punches me in the stomach.
I think you got to dead eye that kid is what you do.
Wow. Do you dead eye the kid or do you dead eye the parents?
Both.
The mom eventually came over and kind of guided the kid back over to where they were sitting.
Or you flop on the ground and you say you're suing.
Starts. You know what?
Assault is assault.
Assault is assault, but do you really want to go in front of the judge and a jury of your peers and be like, that 6-year-old gravely injured me?
I'm broke. I've got no shame. I'll take the money, dude. And the kid's got to learn a lesson. All right? Keep your damn hands to yourself. We all learned that in kindergarten.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Are you a cable guy? Do you have cable?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had cable.
I haven't had cable I think the last time I had cable was it came free when I got new internet.
The last time I had cable was living with my parents.
Do they still have cable?
I think my dad does, but only kind of like what you were about to say, only because his internet package comes with it.
Because it's free. Yeah. So I was looking at a story, and they did a survey at the end of 2024. 46% of Canadian households do not have a cable, satellite, or TV subscription at all.
I'm surprised that number isn't higher, honestly, with Netflix and all the streaming crap nowadays.
Well, that's just it. Canadians subscribe to an average of 2.6 streaming platforms per household. So essentially, everyone's got 3 different streaming services instead of having a cable package these days. And they say that we should cross the 50% mark, maybe even by the end of this year as more people continue to cut the cord. And it's just it's honestly what you said. It's almost surprising that it's that low because it used to be surprising to go to somebody's house and they didn't have cable.
Yeah.
Now it feels weird if you walk in and there's a set-top box on the TV.
I remember being excited when my mom laid out, we had Kojiko back in the day, and she laid out the thing, and she's like, all right, which package should we get?
Oh, when you got to go over the menu of channels?
Mm-hmm. Or my dad having to spend extra money to get the sports channels.
Yeah, back when TSN and Sportsnet were 1 channel each instead of 5 apiece, and you had to sit down and be like, okay, I want some Homes and Gardens. I want some Food Network.
Trying to justify to my mom why we needed the Extreme channel.
Was that skateboard?
That was a thing, yeah.
And it used to be, TV remotes and fighting over it with your siblings. Or, this is predating you, I would imagine, but I was certainly sent up to the TV by my parents back when you had to actually click the knob.
Oh, that's before my time, yeah.
To actually change the channel. When you'd look over at your kids and be like, want to play a fun game? It's called Put the Hockey Game On.
When we had dial-up internet and I would scroll deep enough to the adult section and just read descriptions.
My dad had a satellite, and I will fully admit, with the pride of a young man, I watched a couple scrambled channels back in the day.
I didn't even have the scrambled channels. I just go through and it'd be like Big Booty House 5.
You're just reading what
the
it's
girls
about.
Visit the House, Big Booty 5, starring Seymour Butts. And I'd be like, no way.
Tell me more.
Oh, my God.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What's something that everyone used to have in their home, but they don't? Obviously, home phone was a big answer.
Landlines, yeah. So it was Brando texted in and said would have the cord long enough to go to the next room because you'd put in like a full marathon on a long call.
Also, we were talking about cable, but satellite dishes. I mean, you want to know how a house is older now if it still has the Bell Express view on the side?
Dude, yeah, you don't see them very often, but even I can remember I'm old enough that my dad had the big giant satellite dish in the backyard that like it was a different time. We were more easily amused.
Sure.
We'd change it from one satellite to the other and then run to the back window to watch it go.
A few people texting in about the family computer room, which kids have no idea how lucky they are not to have that anymore.
That's just it. I mean, you can go and get like a Google Chromebook from Best Buy for like $300 now. So kids just have their own, or tablets. They have their own devices.
Yeah.
And they'll never know what it was like to try and download a JPEG while no one was looking in the family room.
I had no idea that you could delete the search history. I didn't know that was a thing. Do you know how many times I went to bad websites and I thought turning off the computer was just turning off the monitor?
So they come back and turn the monitor on.
Yeah.
Oh, here's exactly what Brock was
Used
looking
to sit
at.
in the family computer room doing bad stuff like giving my computer HIV by downloading LimeWire songs all the time.
Actually, on the same topic, someone just texted in something that every house used to have, the Sears catalog.
Oh.
With some certain pages in a certain section worn out a little more than everything else.
Kids have no idea how satisfying it was to be like, this is what I want for Christmas, and then like, all right, let's flip to the back here.
This is what I really want for Christmas.
The original back pages, you know?
Children today have no idea the lengths that we used to go to.
We got someone calling in here. What's something that everyone used to have in their house but doesn't anymore?
Ashtrays.
Oh my God, that's so true. I used to have 3 ashtrays in our house. My parents were smokers. They had 2 out in the living room, but I was allowed to keep one in my room. It was a giant metal thing with skulls all over it.
Badass.
That's awesome.
Is ashtrays and having yellow tinted walls has kind of gone out of style too, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that that circle of a nicotine Dad's chair was.
You know what's also disappearing? Knives with blacked out tips.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
No more coil stoves.
All those damn glass top stoves are ruining it for the kids.
Kids have no idea what hot knives
They
are.
have no idea, and it shows.
This is a Brock and Dalby podcast exclusive.
You guys mentioned Sears catalog. This is going back when I was playing hockey in my youth. Everybody sort of had their favorite model, you know? If you remember,
Yes,
everybody
I do.
looked for there was always that one girl that struck you, and she was in pretty much every shape and form of clothing, modeling, and all that stuff. So you kind of look forward to the new catalog to see what she was wearing this time.
See how she's been for these last year.
Exactly, how you been doing and stuff. So it turns out when I was playing hockey, one of the kids that I played hockey for, call him Dave, it was his mom.
His mom was your Sears dream girl?
Not just mine, pretty much the entire freaking team.
That poor guy.
Oh, yeah, and he was very quiet about it, like, how kids talk and stuff like that in the dressing room.
He most definitely did not use the Sears catalog.
No.
He did not say a word. He didn't mention it, didn't say anything, or, hey, that's my mom, or what, nothing. And just, we happened to see her in the crowd, and did that cause a ruckus in the dressing room? Let me tell you.
You look up into the crowd, the spotlight comes down, Dreamweaver starts playing.
I'd recognize her anywhere.
There she is.
The little stars floating around your head, the whole bit. Yep. Oh, it was crazy.
It's crazy when your wish list pops up right in front of you,
I think half the team forgot about the hockey game, and they were just staring at her in the crowd.
Poor Dave. The modern equivalent would literally be finding out, like, a buddy of yours has a mom with an OnlyFans. Like, that's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, this lady was a little more classy, all right?
You don't know her.
She was a very attractive, very classy, very, very attractive woman. Yeah.
She was an actual model, guys, okay? She wasn't asking for any of this.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, there was a recent study found that around 6 in 10 parents admit to hiding in the bathroom to try and get some peace and quiet from their damn kids.
Only 6 in 10? That number? I'm not going to lie. that number feels low.
Is that a thing that you do when you need to get away? You just go like lock the door? And...
I wouldn't say it's something that I do on a regular basis. Have I done it? Yeah, definitely more than once, where you're just like, I wouldn't just go in there if I didn't have to use the bathroom at all. But it doesn't take much of like, I could pee. to be like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to bring my phone, I'm just going to sit and just give it a minute.
Well, I think even if you don't have kids, even being in a relationship sometimes, it's like that scene in, This Is 40, where Paul Rudd's just sitting on his iPad playing games.
Right. It's just like when you spend a lot of time in close quarters with somebody, whether it's your kids, your significant other, you just need a decompression tank. It's like when divers come back up from underwater. Sometimes you just need to just decompress for a bit.
People do it at work all the time. You sit on the toilet as long as you can just to try and kill time. It's essentially like a smoke break.
I was just going to say, people literally will start smoking for the 5 to 10 minutes that it gives them away from everything.
Yeah.
Because it's not even just people, right? It can be the work, it can be the environment, it can be a lot of noise. Sometimes, as human beings, we just need to go, I don't want to exist any further than about an inch out from myself.
Plus, I mean, it's the only room that you can go into that actually has a lock on it.
That's just, and no one will question, right? Like, my bedroom door has a lock on it. If I'm in my bedroom with the door locked, Mallory and the kids are going to be concerned.
I've been caught, though, before. Courtney's came in. She's like, it doesn't smell in here. And I'm like, you got me.
Dude, that's why you always got a Febreze, whether you did the deed or not. You're a rookie, and you need to learn.
Don't pee off the stains on the toilet. Leave them there for the future.
Okay, that I cannot get on board with. Buy a brush.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Where do you go to hide from your kids or your responsibilities, buddy?
A tool trailer. You know, throughout the week, sometimes if I had a good weekend, usually my tool trailer doesn't get organized.
It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, and all of a sudden then, if guys are like, oh, you had a rough weekend. I say it's all put together, eh? Yeah.
Walk into a man's garage and just be like, damn, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Bottle's empty. I'm stressed out.
The bottles are empty and the screwdrivers are all organized. He needs to talk to somebody.
Yeah. It's the cheapest therapist, I guess, eh?
Man, that's why my dad spent all that time in the garage.
Hanging out in there just constantly fiddling with
You
things.
ever see a guy just watering the driveway sometimes? I feel like that's got to be one of them, you know?
Watering the lawn too much is maybe a sign that someone's like just trying to get out of the house. Why is Dad cutting the lawn for the second time today?
Why is Dad excited to do chores?
But you're right. To see a man just standing in the driveway, just running the hose, you got to go like, someone needs to look after this guy.
A divorce is coming. We got Russ on the line. How do you hide from the kids or your responsibilities?
I head to the gym. I go on the treadmill.
Just run away from your problems without going anywhere.
Exactly. It's the only way.
If I actually ran from my problems, I'd end up so far away from where I live. The treadmill's a great option.
Yeah, you just run.
Some people say they do it for their physical health. Going to the gym is great for your mental health, I've heard, too.
Yeah.
Much rather have a heart attack on the treadmill instead from your kids.
You know what? There's a lot of great techniques in here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm writing some of this stuff down.
We'll take one more call. I believe it's Kyle we got on the line. Kyle, how do you hide from the kids or your responsibilities?
Just say you're staying late at work, and then I go watch a movie at the theater.
Yo, that's genius because you can't answer your phone in the movies.
Nope. Can't answer my phone at work either.
Taking a full, listen, I got to put in an hour and a half to 2 hours of overtime. I'll see you when it's over. It's wild.
Once every 2 weeks? Nice.
Man's got a schedule.
Man, all these conversations this morning is making me realize how much my dad didn't want to be around sometimes. All the overtime my dad had.
He was never at work.
Yeah, at least my dad had the decency to just leave.
Going for a movie is a lot better than going for milk. Let's get real. This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Hey, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
It is opening day for Major League Baseball. So, of course, it is time to once again say,
welcome back
to the game of baseball.
Good to have you back, baseball. We missed you. It feels like Just yesterday, we were in the middle of your 947-game season.
It's time to say welcome back to hearing Buck Martinez say, "Get up, ball!"
Welcome back. Get up, ball! Welcome back to saying you'll get those chores around the house done just as soon as this baseball game is over, and then promptly falling asleep on the couch.
Best couch naps of all time. Welcome back to watching Jays in 30 because you really don't need to watch the full game.
Welcome back. Welcome back to making fun of that professional athlete who just dropped a deep fly ball while you haven't put pants on yet today because your back hurts. Welcome back.
Welcome back, performance-enhancing drugs.
Welcome back.
There's always at least like one or two guys every year.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Just make it legal.
Welcome back to the only acceptable time of year to really just get in there and scratch your groin.
Welcome back to the only time that you can watch grown men scratch their nuts on live television.
Scratching, spitting, even a little sniffing. Welcome back.
And finally, I would like to say welcome back to Nick Castellanos' bad timing home runs.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back. If you don't know, Nick Castellanos plays on, I think, the Phillies now, but he's notorious for, during the pandemic, there was a broadcaster who he said something very insensitive and was trying to apologize, and then this happened.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
This man on a live microphone.
I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
This man on a live microphone is trying to play the "I'm a good person and that's not who I am" card. And Castellanos is like, excuse me.
Well, that's the thing. Castellanos has done this more than just that time. There's been like numerous times where they're talking about like someone's death or something, and then he just hits a dinger.
What's another one?
This Memorial Day one is pretty good.
Citizens Bank Park honoring those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Castellanos rips one to deep left field. It is gone! Solo home run for Castellanos. He's hit in 5 straight. It's 1-0 Bills.
Somebody's getting hot.
You cannot go from "we pay tribute" to the ultimate sacrifice.
There's been like 5 or 6 games where they're like honoring someone's death and Castellanos just rips a dinger.
R.I.P. to those veterans out there. Somebody's getting hot.
It's actually the greatest way to honor someone, rip a dinger.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Sadly, if you didn't know, last week George Foreman passed away, legendary boxer, and of course the inventor of the George Foreman grill.
Well, he put his name on it. He didn't invent it, to be clear.
Sure. But apparently, as good as he was as a businessman and a boxer, terrible at naming his kids.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this. George Foreman has 12 kids. He's got 6 boys.
Damn.
All of them named George.
6 boys all named George.
He's got George Jr., he's got George the 3rd, George the 4th, George the 5th, and George the 6th.
I mean, at least he kept it in sequential order, right? Like, could have gotten weird with it.
I mean, I know he was hit in the head a lot, but dude, come on.
I have to assume that plays into it, right? Just being able to tell them all apart, not having to think about more than what number are you.
If you think that's bad, he's even got a daughter named Georgetta.
Come on. Not even Georgina? Georgetta?
Georgetta, yeah. Which I don't want to speak on a dead man, but that's just cruel.
Sounds like George Jetson.
And then he's got like, a handful of other daughters with like normal ass names, but it's like, imagine how tough that was for her growing up. It's like, who are you named after? My dad?
Georgetta is a tough name when you think about how mean kids can be in school.
And I was curious. I was like, why did he actually name all these kids after himself? And on his website, there's a quote that says, "The reason is, I say to them, if one of us goes up, then we all go up together. And if one of us goes down, we all go down together."
So does that mean that everyone went up? Like, is George Jr. just George now? Does George the 6th get to be George the 5th now? Is everybody get a promotion?
I'm wondering how that will was split up now. Everyone named George probably got a better portion than everybody else.
That's right. You're making fun of Georgetta, but I bet she got more than the rest of the normal Foremans because she had a G in her name.
Parents say they don't have favorites.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What is the story behind your name? Do you know why you were named your name?
Well, my name's Dave. I'm named after my dad, which is named after his dad. My middle name's Nicholas, and I always wondered why my name was Nicholas. There's no Nicholas in the family. Anyways, there was a toss-up between Dave and Nick, but my dad didn't want to name me Nick because he was scared of kids calling me Nick the Dick in school and nonstop bullying me.
It's like that Simpsons thing where he's like, Bart, fart, dart.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Being named David didn't really stop the bullying.
Nick the Dick, thanks for hanging out with us today, man.
No problem.
You do really got to bully-proof a name before you name your kid.
I'll tell you right now, when Nicole and I had our kids, we sat down and we went over, like Alex, we thought long and hard. There were other names that we scrapped because we were like, that's too...
What rhymes with this?
It's too much of a boy named Sue situation.
We got another call in here. What's the story behind your name?
It's not my name. It's my daughter's name. So she's 15 now, but I always swore that when I had my first kid that I would use Rain as either their first or their middle name because I absolutely loved Rain Maida as a kid.
Oh, from like Our Lady Peace?
Yeah. So her first name's Lily, her middle name is Rain, spelt with an E.
When you get mad at her, do you ever go, I'm thinking, why did I have kids?
I think that to myself every day.
Now, the question is, does she like Our Lady Peace?
She actually doesn't like Our Lady Peace, but every time I hear something on the radio, I make that exact same noise and be like, this is where your name came from.
She's got the negative connotation that her name basically means noise.
Yeah, exactly. And she's just as noisy, so it's fine.
You got to think it's tough to name your kid after a celebrity now because you just got to keep your fingers crossed that they don't do anything bad.
That they don't end up on a list of some sort.
It's like getting a tattoo of your favorite band's logo. You're just like, please don't get canceled.
Just all I'm asking for is that you be good people.
All right, we'll take one more call here. What's the story behind your name?
Well, I was named after Randolph Scott, an actor who was supposed to be pretty famous back in, I guess, the late 40s and into the 50s and maybe even the 60s. My mom really liked him, so she named me after him.
It's weird to know that your mom named you after a guy she had the hots for, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we're talking going back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, there's a good chance that your mom thought of your namesake in ways you'd rather not think of.
Yeah, well, see, Dad named the first three boys, so.
What did he name them after?
His father and his grandfather.
So your dad named your three brothers after, like, the family lineage, and your mom was like, well, this dude was cute.
Yeah, that's it.
You got to wonder how many of our moms named us after guys that they used to date or got turned on by is the weird thought.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Did my mom know who Drew Carey was?
Yeah.
Nobody was ever turned on by Drew Carey, dude.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I have a story that I think you're going to be very concerned with. I think is interesting. A study has come out showing that there are people who are developing an addiction, an actual addiction to ChatGPT.
What?
To AI, yeah, in general. Basically, you've heard like people use ChatGPT, you know, not only for like cheating in school or for writing stuff in business or whatever, but also people are just using it as a search engine. Like they're using it as the new Google.
Okay.
People are using it to ask for things like, give me a recipe with what's based in my fridge. Tell me what I should do when I go to the gym today. People are just asking it straight up, what should I do with my day?
And that scares me, to be honest, because what if all of a sudden it's like, what should I do when I go to the gym? And it's like, smash the plate on your head.
Yeah. Well, now not only are we worried about like, what if this thing goes off the rails, but people are becoming dependent on it. Like people are finding themselves in a position where they are becoming reliant on the information that they're getting from ChatGPT.
Well, you said the thing about school. I think there's a lot of kids that are using that in high school and university right now. And I think there's a lot of people that are graduating from university that are getting by because of ChatGPT.
Absolutely. Going out into the real world, not actually maybe knowing the things that they're supposed to know.
Kids don't know how to cheat like we used to, you know?
That's right. I used to put I still used to have to write all my formulas in my TI-83 calculator so that I could pull them up later.
I used to take the wrapper off the water bottle and write everything behind there. Oh. That way you could just look down on it. Yeah.
Very clever. I like that. To take it a step further, because you can also program ChatGPT to like fulfill certain roles or characters. Like you can tell it who it is basically and have it respond to you in that way.
Mm-hmm.
People are using ChatGPT as a therapist?
That's a terrible idea.
That's got to be the most depressing modern thing I've ever heard.
Well, also think about it like this. You're putting all that information out into some server somewhere.
Yeah.
And if that information gets sold, like, what are you going to do?
That's just it. So they're going on and they're basically explaining to ChatGPT, you are a therapist with 30 years experience and you're up to date on all the latest psychological papers or whatever, right? And then they just spill their guts into the computer. You can even use voice now. They're having actual voice therapy sessions with an AI, and then people are reporting that when they don't have access to it or they're away for too long, they're having physical withdrawal issues.
And that's how the robots win.
That's how the robots
That's how they win.
Are already pumping us with dopamine, just like in the Matrix, and we're the ones telling them to do it.
Eventually, ChatGPT is just going to start saying all the mean things to you that you've told them that you don't like.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
They're going to start negging you like a bad boyfriend.
If you were to remake Terminator now, it's completely different. It's just a therapist ChatGPT controlling us.
You know what the crazy thing is all 12 steps of getting free of ChatGPT addiction is just going outside.
Yeah.
It's taking 12 steps out the door and touching grass.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Crikey. It's time for animal impressions with Croc and Digby. Sorry, Brock and Dalby.
All right, we got $100 in Lotto 649 tickets for Saturday's jackpot on the line this morning.
$38 million gold ball jackpot, guaranteed $1 million prize, plus it's another super draw, meaning I believe it's 25 guaranteed prizes of $10,000.
Shout out to Stacy, who sent this video of a baby raccoon she found on her property last summer.
Also, shout out to Stacy for not keeping it. For not inviting that into your home.
This sound? I would not want that in my house. No! So we have got 3 raccoons on the line. If you are not one of them, that does mean you are a judge. So 762-555. Let us know who does the best raccoon impression this morning.
Yesterday was a really good round, so I have high hopes for today.
Caller number 1, what's your name?
Hi, it's Leslie.
Leslie. All right, this is what we're looking for. Whenever you're ready. Well done. Well done. Great job.
Strong start.
Great job, Leslie. All right, stay on hold. We'll see what the people say, okay? Let's go to line 2 here. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
It's Trevor.
Trevor, all right. We need you to be a baby raccoon. Whenever you're ready, Trevor.
That was also really good.
If Trevor was standing outside my window, terrifying.
I would lock the door.
Terrifying. All right, Trevor, stay on hold, all right, buddy?
You know what I realized is those first 3 grunts, very Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, totally. Caller number 3, what's your name?
Alex.
Alex, all right, you're our final raccoon this morning. What do you think of the competition so far?
It's been good. I'll see what I can do.
All right, the standards are set pretty high. That's what we need you to do, Alex. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's hear it. Well done, sir. Well done. All right, this is tough. Stay on hold, Alex. All right.
3 for 3.
We had Leslie off the top, who killed it.
Then we had Trevor, who came in, also killed it.
Yeah.
And then Alex, batting cleanup, nailed it.
I honestly don't know.
It's they all stuck to the script is the thing. Like they all came in very similar to the actual raccoon sound.
I think it's between Alex and Leslie for me.
That seems to be the call of the text line as well. No offense to Trevor, but I just think 1 and 3 were slightly stronger.
Quick raccoon off?
Yeah.
All right, Leslie, here we go.
It's the little...
All right, hang on here. Alex, one more time, my man.
Boys, I'm laughing.
Take a breath, Alex. Center yourself, and then one more time.
I think it's Alex.
I think it's Alex, too.
You get the ding, the round of applause, and $100 in Lotto 649 tickets. All right, my man?
Awesome. Thanks, boys.
If you happen to win the jackpot on Saturday, got some nickels and dimes for the fellas?
We're going on a vacation at the very least.
Woo!
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It's time to send a text to me and my sexy little friend. Dalby 762 555 is the number. You can ask us anything that you want. We'll try to read it on the radio. Send us a text 762 555.
That was something.
Oh, you don't like my country voice?
No, I think what it was that at some point you started the song as Carrie Underwood, and by the end of it, you were Carl Underwood. your voice dipped a bit.
It's 2025. Relax, dude. Relax with your judgment there. First one in here, someone says, with opening day, what baseball team would be the greatest team if the players were the team name?
Ooh.
You gotta go Giants on that one.
Well, I think Giants would definitely be up to sheer size. Because I don't think baseball doesn't really have like a Raptors or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like a really terrifying. There's no Lions. There's Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, Diamondbacks too, the Rattlesnakes.
Although here's the question. Could a tiger play baseball? Is a tiger going to hit a dinger?
I mean, if you're just going on like battle,
yeah.
I think I'm picking the Angels, actually. You ever read the Bible before? Angels do some gnarly stuff.
You're right. And you know what? I saw that movie with Danny Glover and Christopher Lloyd back in the day. Even if it's just playing baseball, yeah, I think Angels in the outfield is the right answer.
They're always watching.
This one here is interesting. Someone who says that they are a syrup maker wants to know, is it pronounced syrup, which is the way that you apparently say it, or syrup, which is how I say it, and they say that's the proper way.
Do I say syrup?
I think you just pronounce it differently. I don't know that I would call it saying it wrong.
Is there a proper way to say it?
I say syrup, and you say syrup. It's just different enunciations.
I like the way I say it, because the way you say it is like syrup.
Syrup?
Like it's like some like hip-hop guy?
See, you say sear, and it makes me think hot, and hot syrup sounds awful.
Hot syrup actually wouldn't be too bad.
You know what? I don't think I've ever noticed this before, but now you're saying it, and it's bothering me.
Hot syrup would be actually pretty good.
Stop saying syrup.
Syrup.
Pass me the syrup, please.
It sounds like a rapper from the 80s.
Maple syrup.
A syrup? Syrup.
Well, yeah, you got a sizzip on your scissor.
If you had to lose a limb, which one would you sacrifice and why?
Left arm.
Left arm?
It sucks. I can't do anything with it. I bump it into things all the time. I have no control. I can't write with it.
Yeah, but imagine like getting out of your car and having to reach over all the time.
Listen, losing any one of your appendages is going to suck. But if you're losing a limb, you only have 4.
I think you go foot.
Well, no, you'd have to lose the whole leg if it's the appendage.
Oh, true.
If it's the whole limb, I can't just lose a foot. I got to go full Oscar Pistorius.
Yeah, but you always complain about your knees hurting anyway.
The solution is not amputation. I should just start stretching.
Think about how much weight you'd lose if you lost one leg, dude.
I wouldn't have a fake leg. I would have a column. I would have a load-bearing pillar.
So it said, what are your thoughts on teaching kids cursive writing? Does it matter anymore? Probably not really.
Oh, curse. I thought you said cursing.
Oh.
I was all for it. I was like, yeah, let's get these kids swearing.
They're going to swear regardless. But the cursive writing, I mean, we both learned it. When's the last time you used cursive writing besides doing your signature at the bank?
The only time I write in cursive is when I'm signing things. And even then, you've seen my signature. It looks like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I would say that the way things are going, we're using word processors, we're using computers, we're using electronic devices for almost everything. Teach kids how to write legibly, and then that's good enough.
Yeah.
You don't need big, loopy, swirly...
It's one of the most useless things, honestly, I learned in school.
We're not dipping a feather quill into an ink basin anymore.
Nobody's writing letters to their sweethearts anymore.
We don't need cursive.
Finally, we'll wrap up with this one. It says, if you could physically fight any historical figure, who would it be and why? Anyone in all of history.
I feel like I could dust a lot of people from like the Elizabethan era. Like walking around with the powdered wigs and the tights on. Like I feel like I win a lot of those fights. I think you go back to like the Roman Greek eras, I lose a lot of those fights.
Some tough guys for sure.
I bet I could take King Arthur.
King Arthur?
Yeah, but like late King Arthur.
I bet you I could dust Helen Keller.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Gotta give a huge birthday shout out to the one, the only, the legend, the icon, the man, the myth, the legend, Ed from the county.
Who?
Ed?
Who's Ed?
Edward? Edmund?
I was going to say, no, it's not Edward. Ed for the county. What did he say? He says he's turning 35 for the 7th year in a row or something like that. Yeah. He's got a line about it.
Old Milwaukee's will be flowing in the county today.
Absolutely. I saw the man on Instagram last night, like, weightlifting chunks of wood like he's friggin' Captain America.
He's in beast mode,
Absolutely.
Man. Happy birthday, Ed. We appreciate you, you beautiful, sexy beast. With that being said, it is time to wrap up the show with my favorite part of the day.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is ratiocination. Yeah. Ratiocination. 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 Whatever. Anyways, it's the process of deduction or reasoning. Or a reasoned train of thought. I have a hard enough time getting a train of thought, let alone a reasoned one. Anyways, that just about does it. Have a great one. Cheers or up.
I love when Ed calls it a word and then just like shrugs it off. Like, I don't know. It's his word. You picked it.
Ratiocination, so basically just being logical. Is that what that means?
I think it's even because it looks like ratiocination. I think it's ratiocination.
Ratiocination?
Ratiocination. And yeah, essentially it's just like a well thought out plan, having reasoned thoughts. Basically the opposite of the buddy who goes, hold my beer.
Yeah.
That guy needs some ratiocination in his
when
life.
You've had a few beers, you ain't thinking too ratiocination.
Oh, that's the first thing to go. Once you crack open that bottle, the ratiocination heads down the road.
Let's get real. Most people in today's society do not have ratiocination.
That's if we had more ratiocination, maybe we'd be in a better place.
I will say my favorite Supertramp song is the ratiocination song.
That's one of their classic hits. Absolutely.
Ratiocination. Use it wherever you can.
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the Bad Line.
The Bad Line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word BAD to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby podcast.